3, 2, 1. We're here. All right. Welcome back to the Shop Class Podcast. Tonight we got a full house. This is great. We got our regulars. We got Timmy. We got Duke. We got Nick. But we also got Greg Quinn from California. And is it Bill? Hidden Pioneers.
CSI Bill. CSI, Common Sense Intelligence.
Ooh, I like that. And they're joining us from San Diego. They do automotive. But tonight's guest is Chris Davis. And he's from the Henry Ford II School. Is that in Michigan?
Yep.
Okay, of course. And
Dearborn?
probably.
No, it's not in Dearborn.
Okay. And he does like all kinds of boards. If you think about surfboards, paddleboard, stand-up paddleboards, skateboards. And then what interested me, I was like, wow, we got to learn about this process. Snowboards. So awesome, which is probably the same as skis. So, Chris, how you doing?
I'm good.
All right.
Good to be here. So, yeah, we're just kicking off our snowboard pressing month right now. We've been having a new snowboard in the press pretty much every single day for the last 2 weeks of school. So, we're kids are getting excited. They're getting cut out, and we're out riding them on the weekends. So,
that's amazing. To me, I know that you say this is a simple process, but I am like blown away by this whole thing. So here they are making like actual snowboards, and there's I guess a skateboard. But it's amazing to me because the snowboard, when you walk in the snowboard shop, it's like $600.
yeah.
And like here you are just making it in the shop, and then they're out riding it, which is like amazing.
Yep.
And then also it's high school students, that's a whole other thing. It's not just the process, but I want to know how you manage all this stuff, you know?
So if you're thinking about introducing snowboards to your classroom, there's a few things you got to think about. First thing is you need a press, some sort of press, and we use a vacuum press on ours.
Okay.
And you're going to need a mold, and depending on what size snowboard you're going to press, usually like 2 molds. We have a 148 and 154, and we just got a 165 mold for these boards, so they're different.
Did you make the mold?
Well, we made 2 we have 4 of them. We made 2 of the 4.
Okay.
But basically, if you go to, there's a site called Board Crafter, or if you have a CNC machine in your shop, you can design it just the bottom profile, and then cut it out of MDF, glue it all together, wax it up, and then you can press your snowboard right to that in the vacuum press.
Is this it right here? Board crafter?
Yeah, so all right, scroll down a little bit.
Yep.
So this right here, they actually made a Board Crafter design software. It was for Windows XP. It's free to download. You can actually design the press or any shape board you want using that. But you can just do it with CAD or any program you want. But that's specifically set up for it, depending on how technical you want to get with your board, because these things can get really technical.
Okay.
We don't get too technical. Like I said, we got four molds and sizes. We have 2 different shapes. We have like the standard shape, I guess, and then like a blunt nose shape.
Okay. And does it have the parabolic type of thing where it's thin in the middle, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So if you're designing, the thing we need to know is, like, if you're designing the base material. So think of the snowboard like a big sandwich. You have a base material, the
Okay.
base sheet, which is the bottom of the snowboard, then a layer of fiberglass, and then you have the core, which is a wood core, and then another layer of fiberglass, and then you have your top sheet, which is the top of the snowboard.
Okay.
So basically, you just got to build each one of those things. The fiberglass, you just cut to, a little bit over length. That's done, right? The base, it needs to be like whatever length you want your board to be, needs to be that. And then your core is going to be like, I think it's like 5 millimeters less than that, whatever your base is, all the way around. So offset it 5 millimeters. So it's a little bit smaller.
Okay.
And if you could cut that out on your CNC, if you have a CNC, then you have those as your template. So then you just take a flush trim router bit, take your base material, router around it, and then you have that shape cut out. And you do the same thing with the core. The part that we've had the most difficulty with is bending the edges, because you have the metal edges. If you bring up, so that right there is one of the templates for our 152
Okay.
snowboard. So we just take spring clamps, put the base material on there, flush trim router bit, take it all the way around. We mark the centers. You see the center marks up and down it?
Oh, I see. Yeah, there is center. Yeah.
Yep. Because you want your core and your base to be lined up even
Okay.
when you glue these together.
Right.
So you line up the center marks. If you go to the top one, like one
This
of
one?
those. Yep. So the metal edging is,
Do you buy that?
yep.
Okay.
It's just straight though. You have to bend it. So you have to bend it to the shape.
Okay.
And then all you do though is you just super glue it to it, because it just needs to hold until you press it. Once you press it, then the fiberglass and the epoxy is where all that gets its strength from. But you want to spend some time on the edges though and get those right, because if not, if you have a gap between your base material and your edging, eventually that's just going to rip apart.
All right. So what are we looking at, the base material right here?
Yeah. And
All
could you
right.
zoom in a little bit on that by chance?
I wish I could. I don't know. There's no way to do that.
Okay. Well, you see those things sticking up? That's
Yeah.
yeah, those right there. Those are the inserts. That's what you.
Right. For my
That's what-
bindings.
Yep, for your bindings. So
Okay.
what you do is you line the core up. The core already comes with the pre-drilled holes where the inserts go. So when you line the center marks up to
That's
your,
the core is this, but this is a template for the core, not the core.
yep. I'm
Okay.
not sure if I have.
Here we go.
No, that's just a table we made to attach the.
All right. Here's them laying up the fiberglass
Yep.
or the resin.
So yeah, this is the next layer of the fiberglass.
All right. So let's go back. Wait. Let's go back.
Right.
All right. Here's.
Yeah, there's a core right there.
Oh, okay.
So that's the core. The holes come with it already drilled in there.
Wait. I'm okay. So slow down for the naive metal worker. I don't know anything about wood. So this is beautiful looking already. Is that all sandwiched together? Is that several pieces of wood, or is that a slice? Like, what am I looking at here?
They're edge glued together.
Oh, wow.
But we buy our cores. You can make your cores. We buy them.
That's fine.
What is that, poplar?
Yep. Yep, poplar.
Is that edge glued or face glued?
That's edge glued.
What would be the difference between
The
edge
grain
glued?
orientation.
No, that's face glued.
Oh, so if it's edge, it would be long, and if it's faced, you'd see the swirlies. Am I right? I don't.
If well, it's
Um,
just you got the size of the board. You got the face, the edge, and the end.
Okay.
So the face is like the bigger part, goes together like that.
Okay.
because
Okay.
they'll expand because they would expand differently in with the moisture. So if something was
There's
edge glued, if it was edge glued, it would expand one way. If it was face glued, it would expand the other way.
Oh, okay. What's the advantage? Like, which way would you want it for a board?
well, these things are sealed. They're
Uh,
covered in epoxy. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just asking, being naive.
yeah.
That's
yeah,
all.
it's a good question. I wouldn't even,
So, like when you go to like when we went to Vermont and watched Burton build their boards and their cores, they
Okay.
have now obviously they're Burton, so they're the most advanced or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they have multiple layers of like 7 different kinds of wood, all going in different directions and different parts of the board. Their cores are way more advanced than anything we got. How much that helps, I don't know. I mean, our boards ride fine, but
Right.
we're not, competing in the Olympics on them either. So
Yeah.
you know.
So did you went to like a factory tour or something like that?
Yeah, if you go to Vermont has all their limited edition boards are made in Vermont. All their mass production boards are made in China. So
Oh,
they have
wow.
like Craig's. It's called Craig's, and that's their shop where they build all their U.S. Open boards, their limited edition, their Olympic boards. When we were there, the kids were building a snowboard with the guy that built Shaun White's snowboard in the Olympics.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty cool.
That is cool. Is it on their website? I'm looking around.
Craig's, they had tours. I don't know if they have tours now with COVID, but
Oh, yeah. Where are they located? Like, I know it's Vermont, but
Burlington.
oh, okay. That's so funny. I would go to Vermont, Killington for snowboarding all the time, and I've never been to this.
Yeah, it's really a cool place. What's crazy is they all bring their dogs to work, so there's dogs running all over all the time. It's hilarious.
That's funny. And you called that their high end one is called Craig's?
Craig's is just the facility that they build all their limited edition boards.
Is it like where it would be? All right, no problem. That's pretty cool. And you guys got a tour? Did you bring the students?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Went out snowboarding and at Stowe. So
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Dude.
that was pretty cool.
Do your
That's
students?
a hell of a field trip.
Yeah.
So are these your advanced woodworking students, or intermediate, or beginning, or all over?
I mean, so technically they're in the advanced class, but those projects, like, it's not that advanced of a project. Once you have molds and you have the press and you have that stuff set up and they're just building the board. I mean, I have kids that can build the board in a week and a half.
That's great.
Wow.
I have other kids that'll take them 20 weeks.
So do you get a pretty much 100% buy-in, or are there some kids you got to nudge the whole way through the project? Or
no, if they're doing the snowboards, then I don't have to nudge them.
cool.
It's not everybody's doing it though. Like, they're either doing those longboards or the surfboards or the paddle boards.
And Chris, how big are your shop classes? How many students in one of your wood shop classes?
They just vary. The most I have right now is 36 now in my first hour.
Oh, that must be fun.
Oh, it's wonderful. And then my smallest is 24.
Okay. That's about like what we have too.
But you get a lot of, so like with the board sports, what I've just come to note, like it wasn't really talked about too much. I mean, we live in Michigan, so like building surfboards and stuff like that, and you never hear kids talking about paddleboards or anything like that. A few kids would longboard or skateboard, but it wasn't really talked about with the school. That's one of the cool things that building all these boards has really helped kind of bring that to life in the school. Now almost everybody has a longboard. They all want to ride. They're all talking about meeting up this weekend to go snowboarding.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool to see them getting out and riding the projects. You know, the celebrity stuff's cool too. Like today we just finished up fiberglass and Kenny Chesney's paddleboard and Ty Pennington's. So we just got to put the hot coat and fin on those boards, and those will be done.
Yeah, if you're new to Chris's work, they're selling boards, or they're doing board work with celebrities all over the world. It's unbelievable what the attention he's brought to the program is. Very beneficial. Even Richard Branson is like a big one guy who got the board from you guys. Here we go. Look at this.
Yeah, that's a video he sent me.
That's
Sent me
awesome.
that, and then a photo when when he got it on his island.
Oh,
Yeah, last year we did Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, and her husband Jesse Itzler. He founded Marquee Jets, and
oh yeah, right here.
yeah, it was cool.
I've listened to her story on how I built this.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Fantastic. Great entrepreneur.
I tell you what, like they're billionaires, right? And what's crazy, she wouldn't let me leave without making me lunch. Like, I mean, she's just.
Yeah, they're down to earth.
They could hire people to do everything. They're just, and they had people around, but they were, involved, I guess.
And who's the latest person you did something for?
Well, all right, so scroll down. All right, so the one on the right is Kenny Chesney.
Here?
No.
Sorry.
The paddleboard.
Oh, here.
Yeah. So that's the one for Kenny Chesney.
All right, forgive me. I don't know who that is.
He's a country music singer.
Oh, that's cool.
He does stadium tours. He's
1.5 million followers.
Yeah, he's big in the Caribbean. Like it's all like Caribbean vibe type. It's country music, but it's a little different.
That's awesome.
So how do you do the outreach to the celebrities? Is that something the students do? Do they reach out to them, or?
No, it just depends. So like Richard and Kenny are buddies. Richard has his island in the Virgin Islands. Kenny hangs out at St. John's Island, they hang out and stuff. And Richard sent that to Kenny, and Kenny's emailed me.
Cool.
Just kind of got word of mouth. Next year we're building a surfboard for Kelly Slater.
Oh, no way.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. It's gonna go out at a surf ranch.
He's like the #1 surfer in the world, right?
Yeah, 11-time world champ. He's when it comes to that. And Ty Pennington, he's when it comes to fame or whatever, he's not like some of these other guys, but Ty is super cool. He sent messages. He's really excited about his board. It's just.
Oh yeah, Ty Pennington right here.
Yeah.
So did the students sell these, or are they?
No, well, we're a school, so we can't sell them and make money. We get donations. The celebrity boards we donate, because for the most part we get all the materials for free from companies for the celebrity boards.
Gotcha.
So
Like the one in the video right there, that is that a young lady that's looks like she's putting a final glass coat on? Is that what she's doing in that, or can't
Yeah, that's for a surfboard. Now, that's not a celebrity board, but there's this 12-year-old out in Hawaii that just rips waves, and we just thought it'd be cool to make his day and send him
That's awesome.
custom Hollywood and surfboard. Mad Max on there. He's just ripping waves all the time, posting stuff. He's got some Detroit ties. So we just thought it'd be cool to just send him one. So, and then Ecopoxy, that's for the CEO of Ecopoxy. That's going to go in the showroom. And
look at
that's
that.
where we, yeah, he's super cool kid.
Oh my God. Look at that. You're gotta be kidding me.
Yeah. And I just got back from a surf trip in Nicaragua.
Whoa.
And I tell you, that is no joke right there.
Yeah, I've done a 1 foot wave, and I'm proud of it. And it's not easy. I'll tell you what. You know what's weird? No one tells you. If you ever can stand up, the board vibrates. Am I crazy, or is that like? Did you feel that? Once it's on the wave, it like vibrates. Maybe that was the
Well, you gotta get it away from the white water of it.
Oh, I don't know what I'm doing.
But well, I don't either. I mean, that's we built more surfboards than I have gone surfing. But like I said, I just went out to Nicaragua. I got a trip out there a few weeks ago, and
Wow, that's cool.
That was really cool for a thing called Surf Yoga Beer.
Nice. Did you ever see the movie Step into Liquid?
No, but I've seen Point Break, and I tell you what, Keanu Reeves did not learn how to surf like that in that short of time. I guarantee you.
All right, I cannot believe that you haven't seen this movie. When it's movie night, really, really kill the lights, put the good sound system on, and really sink into this film. If you watch this and you don't try surfing, you're not actually alive. There's something wrong with your soul. It's really.
What's it called?
Step into Liquid. I'll pull up the trailer right now. It is like just surf passion, made by the guy whose father made on any Sunday, motorcycle movie.
Any given Sunday. Oh,
yeah,
That's Bruce Brown.
Bruce
Brown.
Yeah, Brown. Yeah, and they go around the world.
And
Or Endless Summer. His dad.
Endless Summer. Yeah.
Yeah, and do they go around the world, interviewing and just staying with, like, just hanging out with all walks of life. One guy's a janitor, and he surfs every day.
mhm.
He's surfed like 3,000 days in a row or something like
Robert
that.
August. Yeah.
That's like these guys. Like I said, I just got back from Nicaragua on a surf trip, and I'm telling you, like these people, that's what the local shaper went there on vacation 17 years ago and never came back.
Rob Machado is one of the guys. Actually, I sold my RV to that guy. He lives in Encinitas.
Oh, no way.
He bought my
Really?
old RV to go surfing in Mexico.
Dude, it's a small world. I mean, Southern California's in the house tonight. So, we're talking surfing. I mean, come on.
Well, see, here's the difference. Those boards right there are sweet. They're all going to end up in a landfill.
Aha.
Why you go with the hollow wooden boards? You're not going to get the performance that, like, we're not pros, but you can go out there, you can surf them. And yeah, there's Kelly.
Yep.
Yeah, he's super cool too. That guy, he's really down to earth, really nice guy.
You know what's wild? There's this one segment that's insane about this. There's a segment where they put a foil on the bottom to do the big waves, like that. Not this is like crazy. You could die doing this, but we're talking like 100-foot waves.
Foot waves, yeah.
Yeah, like really on the crazy side of.
I think that's the wedge at Newport Beach. One of those shots were.
Yeah, they get pulled in on jet skis and stuff.
Yes, yeah, and it's not by chance. Like, you can't do it without a jet ski,
Right.
And they go out there with you, and the music and the interviews, you like, it's just, you get the vibe. It transfers right through the like. Look at this. Like this is like like what am I looking at here? Look at the
Yeah.
size of that wave.
Yeah, those big wave riders, I mean, like they're putting
That
their
looks
life on
green
the line
screen.
for every one of those waves. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's no joke.
No, it's real. I know.
That looks green screen, doesn't it?
I know. I know. No, it's real. Oh,
So
there's
No special effects. There it is. It says it right in front of you.
yeah. What's the guy's name? This guy right here that he's like the biggest wave rider ever. Geez, I forget his name. This is terrible. I forgot his name. Anyway, okay, great movie, and it's a great documentary. Yeah, you got to check it out. Cool, man. This is wild. Now you're saying that your boards are hollow and not
hollow wood. Yep, no foam. No foam.
Okay, yeah, because it's a big piece of foam that's just gonna end up living
Yep.
forever.
Yep. You know, the wood boards, they'll they last. You know, for our paddle boards, it wouldn't do anybody any good that mountain bike somewhere and then blows up their stand-up paddleboard and stuff like that and then takes it out. It wouldn't serve that purpose. But if you live on a lake or something like that where it's fairly close, you take it off the wall, you go ride it, you bring it in, you put it back on the wall. And
Yeah.
we get a lot of people doing that stuff with them.
And it's fairly lightweight, I guess, because it's hollow.
Yeah, ours are 30 pounds. Most home builders are somewhere between 50 and 60 pounds.
Oh wow.
We've managed to get the weight down on them. With the whole hollow wooden board building thing, whether it's surfboards or paddleboards, it's really a small community, and these top builders really helped me out with tips and to bring our boards up to really high quality level. That's my thing with projects. It's just always been a pet peeve of mine. Like if we're gonna build something, I want it to be built right. I want it to be built with as high quality as possible, or I don't want to do it. One of the kids just took because we don't have a stone grinder for our snowboards, but he just took a snowboard that he pressed last week to a shop to get it stone grind, and he said that they were just could not believe that was an at-home build, that he built that in class.
Wow.
He said people bring in at-home builds all the time and they're garbage. He's like, this is a legit snowboard.
That's so awesome.
Now, are you getting the materials from, say, just the lumber yard, or are you special?
No, you're just if you just Google snowboard building supplies, there's different companies that like snowboardmaterials.com. There's a few different companies that sell everything you need.
Right, but the woods that you're using, I
buy the core.
Oh, you buy the
core. We buy the core. It's just like any of the other materials, and then we cut it to shape.
Okay.
So we could make them. I've seen people make them where they build a jig for their planers because the ends of the cores are a lot thinner than the middle of the core, like the middle of the board. So I've seen people run through planers like that. You can CNC them. I'm just not that good at programming CNC to do that. But yeah, I mean, if you just do that, you just face glue up a bunch of poplar and run it on CNC if you got the program, and there's your core.
So the core basically is planed but thinner on the ends, and then it's also you route them though, right?
Yeah, we router the outside shape. So the holes for the inserts are already pre-drilled.
Okay.
But the rest of it's just like square.
All right. And and then you also have to buy the fiberglass.
The fiberglass. So you got base material, edging, and then you got dampening material, or we call them gummies. It's basically this material that you put over top of the metal edging to help it bond better when it presses.
So here's the edge.
Yep.
Now these don't look very expensive, which is
No,
wild.
yeah, the edges aren't.
But like, how do you make sure that edge doesn't just rip right out? You know?
Because, I mean, it's got, so the fiberglass is like 22-ounce thick triaxle fiberglass. I mean, it's thick. And
I know nothing about fiberglass. Is it
Yeah.
the same glass that you use for, like, what would be another example, I guess? Oh,
So our paddle boards and our snowboards, or our paddle boards and our surfboards are all fiberglass. The surfboards, we use 4-ounce, and the paddle boards we use 6-ounce. Snowboards we use 22-ounce.
Okay.
So it's a lot thicker.
All right.
But do you stock all this stuff, or you just order it as you need it?
I kind of have a supply now. It started out ordering it as needed, and now I'm just kind of ordering it in bulk.
What's this part here? The rubber.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying, like the gummies or the dampening materials. So all you do is that goes along all the way around the edge of the edging, the metal edging.
Ah.
So when you have the base, that was on the video. The first thing that we were doing is cutting that up and just having it go all the way around the metal edging. It helps it bond better and less rattle.
This one here.
Yep. That's what we're doing, is we're putting the gummies on all the way around the edging. You see?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that.
Yep.
And then the glass. And then
the glass.
Then the wood. Here we go. That's the core. And then the glass.
Yep.
And then the top plate.
Yep. So
and then it goes in the press.
Yep. And so we just used the wood veneer for the top sheet on this one.
Okay. Oh, I like that idea. I heard you talk about that, because it's a wood shop, so you don't want it to look too much like a factory product, right?
Right. I mean,
I like that. Good idea.
The kids, if they wanted to, they could purchase sub-laminated top sheets with whatever graphics they want.
Yeah, I noticed there's a few purchased ones.
No, that's all made. We made all those.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So like that's just paint. That's just painted on.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like the one all the way to the left.
Oh, look at this. We got the dead.
Yep. So it's called rice paper. And what that is, you can print like a logo. Same thing with surfboards, paddleboards, whatever. But like think of a white surfboard, right? With like a black logo in it, right? That's not painted. All that is rice paper.
Oh.
You print it on the rice paper and you put it on with the epoxy, and the paper just like disappears. All you see is the logo.
Interesting.
So that is just a plain, like the second one there, the one you have the arrow on.
Yeah.
That's just nothing on it. Plain core with some rice paper logos on it.
But okay, so I'm looking at this. Oh, this is the nuts are there, right? The inserts are there.
Yep.
Hard to see them, but they're there.
Yeah, they all got them.
Interesting. Wow.
I'm not sure if we drilled them out on the one with the ridiculousness where the guy's landing on his face. I'm not sure.
Oh, you got it. Yeah, you got it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't zoom in, but I see it. That's so interesting. Wow.
Does it go in waves? Like 1 year, like the surfboards are really big. 1 year, skateboards really big, or is it just totally like ebb and flow in terms of like, one kid does it, then everybody else.
Really, what is they all kind of come in, and for the most part, when they come in, they're the people that are skaters or do board sports, they're already 100% in. But for everybody else that's never done it, they like start warming up to it. And once they start feeling like it's cool and that like, oh, look at this, look at how that one's turning out. Oh, I want this design. Then they start getting into it. Then next thing you know, you start seeing people longboarding and boots and stuff that, you know, people that you would have never thought you'd ever see on a longboard out cruising. And
awesome.
then it turns into, well, I did my longboard. Maybe I'll try snowboarding, you know, and it just kind of evolves with that.
Do you have, okay, I know nothing about your area.
Yeah.
Do you have mountains by you?
I mean, we have garbage dumps that are covered in dirt that we call mountains around here. Up north, there's some decent ones. But yeah, it's nothing like out west or, you know, nothing like that.
I mean, I'm in Jersey. I have to go an hour and 15 minutes to go to what's called Mountain Creek. And you know, if you've been out west, you're not going to think Mountain Creek is much. But it's only an hour and 15 minutes from me, and it's they're open till 9 p.m. So
see, I would do that every weekend.
Yeah, and I can do it after work and stuff like that. And because they don't close till 9 p.m. They got lights. So as long as it does, we don't have the best weather either. So as long as it doesn't rain and then freeze, that is the worst. As long as it's cold consistently, they can actually make snow. So we get a lot of man-made snow because we're just not. It's New Jersey. You need to go to New York State or Vermont to get snow around here.
Well, all of ours is pretty much man-made. Every now and then we get like, you know, dumped on, but
okay.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. You got to keep that environment though of trying to get the best out of them, I guess. Trying to make the coolest project, the best this, the most unique that, you know, like if you create that vibe and they buy into it, that's where the projects start turning out awesome. When it turns into, I don't care, I wanted it like that. Or like, you know, you get into the whole laziness of,
oh, that's a great question. Like, yeah, like how do you, because sometimes people just go through the motions. I guess you got a good vibe. Like if you look in the back here, you got a lot of murals up there.
Right. So I got that donated. That took a while to get, but that's 12 grand worth of vinyl graphics that got donated.
Wow.
By a company called I'm Branded. And yes.
That probably helps
create the vibe. And then underneath there on the left, on the bottom there, you see it says board builders. I got a graffiti artist from Detroit. I paid him $100, come in and just started spraying graffiti all over the room. Looks sweet.
Awesome. Yeah.
You know, I didn't ask for permission on this stuff. They probably would have said no.
How dare you?
My supervisor would stroke.
There we go.
Right. Good vibes only, board builder. Right. Well, I mean, like, but what environment? I mean, our shop looked like a prison.
They all do.
Right.
What is with the army green? Why was that so popular?
You wanna create that environment where they walk in, that they're walking into a fun space. You like it, you know, you gotta build that. You gotta, so like with all the boards we do, we try to create all that kind of stuff. We'll hang boards up on the walls. You know, we're always playing music in there.
Yeah, like if you go to, what was that? Oh, really? Oops. Like the Burton factory thing. It looks so cool when you walked in, you know?
Now, Chris, here another question for you.
Yeah.
Do you ever step aside from the board building and do more of like a traditional?
No, I did the traditional stuff for 14 years. And I got bored of it. And I mean, we have a furniture and cabinet class, right? So like one of the things that they built was we built surfboard furniture. We built a computer. Let me see if I got a.
No, see, well, I was just wondering, like, do you do this and the traditional stuff, or have you just migrated to this? And you're basically saying that you've now migrated to this because you
Student
needed to
interest.
one up yourself, kind of.
No, well, more student interest. I mean,
How can you go
when
back
you,
after
when
this?
you think of like, I mean, give me some traditional woodworking projects. I mean, we
The
all know
Adirondack chair, that's the typical, right?
Yeah, yeah, Adirondack chair, a
Napkin
box, jewelry
holder.
box,
Yeah.
lathe turning stuff.
Yeah. A
now,
wooden
now,
bowl.
now think for a second. What do you think would interest kids more in making?
Yeah, because this is appealing. This is what they do. They skate. They
It's
snowboard.
all based around student interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that, but what I'm just asking is, if do you still do that other stuff?
No, because I want every day when they come in to be excited about what they're making. And I know that, it's hard to say, because anytime a kid makes something, even if it's a piece of junk, whatever, they're proud of themselves usually,
What about that guitar?
Yeah.
Is that a Taylor guitar template, or is that through Taylor, or is that just a freehand thing a student did?
That was just, we made templates for it.
Okay.
We made templates for those. We did those. When I taught ninth grade, we did a bunch of those solid body guitars, and we might get back into some guitar stuff.
The reason I asked is here in San Diego, Taylor Guitars is in San Diego, and we have that with a couple of our construction programs, our wood shops, that we're going to be implementing that. And it's a very similar program what you're doing with your snowboards, but every student would build a guitar, but there's certain templates and stuff that Taylor provides, and there's curriculum. So just curious.
Right. So you got to buy that curriculum, which is no big deal. The thing about the guitars that I don't know. I definitely like the guitar building because it's adding a hobby. I like building stuff that adds hobbies, like some other escape other than video games and stuff like that, and music's definitely one of them. But the components of those get expensive, and I don't know how to play guitar, so when it comes to like tuning them, again, my number one thing is to build stuff that is quality. And so for like those guitars, I had people come in that know how to play guitars and build them to tune them up and stuff. Because I didn't know how to do it. I still don't know how to do it. I don't have that ear. And I don't know how to play. But when he can plug in and start jamming Metallica on something that we made and it sounds good, then I'm like, all right, we can do that. But if we can't get them to sound good, I don't want to build them,
Yeah, I understand.
I understand where you're coming from, Chris. I was just asking if you are doing other things too, because you see all the pictures that you post, and I follow you, and you see a lot of the boards, you see all that stuff, but it's that other element, like you don't see the traditional stuff. So do you not do it? Have you do you do it? Do you just not post it? Those are the questions that we got you on the screen. Let's ask you those questions.
Yeah. So like this here, this was our last like box type project. This was 2019. And it was more like a filler project. Like if we do a box or something like that, or something small, it basically means there's a month left of school and we're just filling in time here. Because what happens is like some people get done with stuff earlier than others, and I have they're not like class assignments. It's more like,
oh, that's what goes in the middle.
Yeah,
that's inside of Richard Branson's board.
So you obviously have a laser cutter.
I do now. Yeah, I got it 2 years ago.
Is that
that's all hand cut though, except for the
hand
lettering.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like it was laser cut. The inserts in the center. Wow.
Yep. So if you look at the plate
there it
that
is in the
says
background.
Necker Island, like, oh, yeah, you can't really see that, but the palm trees are all cut out. Yeah, so that Necker Island part is laser cut. All the palm trees are all hand cut.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
You're
I
using
think,
a test tool also.
yeah.
See, that's test
You
tool.
know, I think what Timmy, if I were to, tag on to what Timmy said, basically like these to someone from the outside, like for me, these seem advanced. However, if you have a process,
It's all about the process, and anybody
yeah.
can do this stuff. Like, I mean,
So-
these girls built that board for Richard Branson, had not a single one of them had a woodshop class before. You break it down into steps and get them to understand that step that they're doing for that part of it and not worry about anything else. Then we just go to the next step. And I have them in groups too. Like, so, like with these girls, one of them was like a fantastic artist. She drew that design on there, that whole design in an hour.
Wow.
I was so worried about that. I can't draw like that, and I'm
Mhm.
like, she's like, yeah, give me a few minutes. I'll go upstairs or whatever. And she just started drawing that. She did that whole thing. One first shot, I looked at it, I was like, holy cow. Yep, we're in. Let's do it. And then I had two
Cool.
other girls who were like really into the building, more the building part of it. A couple of the other girls were really into the finishing part of it, the epoxy fiberglass type stuff. So we try to put people together, and it's funny how their strengths come out. And we just focus on their strengths.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
So
know?
not for nothing, but you do make it sound simple. I totally know. So either you got a great vibe and it just magnetizes everyone, which is amazing, or your process is really dialed in, or both. Like, so
I could work with Tim. I could work with you for 4 days, and you could have this project in your shop.
Timmy's going surfing. He's gonna go land surfing, right?
Yeah.
Well, paddleboard or whatever. I mean, like, so I mean, our typical donation per paddleboard is $2,000. We built 10 of those. We got 20 grand. I don't have to ask for money about stuff if I don't want to. Like all our snowboards, kids aren't paying for those snowboards.
It's awesome.
Not a single kid's
that's
paying
cool.
for.
I mean, that's all cool. It's just it is a different way of thinking about like wood manufacturing or wood shop or whatever terminology you want to use. It is a new way of thinking about it.
Yeah,
I would love to make bicycles.
Yeah, Woodby Designs. There's a guy out in California right now who makes stuff out of broken skateboards, and he just built like a mountain bike. It's
yeah,
pretty
Woby.
sweet.
Yes, I follow him.
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
What is it?
He makes a bunch of stuff out of
How do you spell it?
WOBY, I think.
B or V?
B.
Will be designed.
Yep.
This one?
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's a pretty eclectic guy.
Yeah, he's
Look at this.
Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome. Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, he does some pretty cool stuff. I think he's got quite a bit of following too. Like I know he does YouTube and
Whoa, look at these frames.
yeah, it's all out of broken skateboards.
And am I right? Because it's laminated, it's like crazy strong.
It's strong, yeah. I mean, crazy strong for a bike, no, but
Okay. Interesting. Oh, there you go. Look at that.
it's the artistic part of it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I get
Wow.
people, it's funny that you ask about like the traditional woodworking stuff because I do get people ask like, well, like, what are they going to do when they get out of here? Go work at the local board building shop or whatever.
Yeah, why not?
And
yeah, how do you answer that question? That's a good question.
I just tell them that my job is to like I just try to inspire them to get creative and build cool stuff. Now, if they enjoy that type of thing and they want to take that into a career, they can, you know. Yeah, there's more things that they're going to have to learn and all that. But to try to, if I bring a class in and I say, like, I'm going to teach you this skill, I'm going to teach you how to do dovetails, I'm going to teach you how to do box joints, I'm going to teach you all about wood movement, I'm going to do this. You've already lost them.
Yep.
You've already lost them.
100%.
No, they don't care about that stuff. Now, you can teach them about that later on in the year once you have them hooked in on stuff, but you can't, you just lose them. You lost your vibe. You're going to be sitting there, you know, grinding it out. When you get your 30 years in, your last few years, you're going to be like, you know, what's the war down? I can't do that. I just don't want to do that. So if I get, I mean, I have kids that are in the woodworking business and that are finished carpenters and stuff now. They just took their passion for what they started to learn about my class and then developed it. You know, if you like working with wood, here's a path you can take. Here's something else you can do. I got somebody just started their own woodworking business, building creative type projects and selling them. Now, they're not going to retire off that, but it's going to lead them to something else, you know, and who knows, they find a niche.
I always say, you know, people, so I know what, you know, the topic we're talking about. You know, sometimes people ask me like, oh, do you teach the kids how to fix the brake pads and whatnot? Not really, only if it comes up, because the thing about it is that, you know, I got to treat them like spies. I treat all my students like spies. They're on a need to know basis, because if you try and jam a ton of information into them that they don't feel they have context, right? If it's not relevant to their world, like they don't even drive yet, they're not going to fix brake pads. And then, you know, so if it's not relevant to them, it doesn't light the fire. What you really got to do is light the fire. And then later, when it's starting to burn, and then they want more kindling or they want more fuel for the fire, then you're like, hey, you can do this dovetail thing, or hey,
That's
you can
exactly
CAD something up, and then
that's
you can
exactly it.
manufacture it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some years it's easier to do that than others, I've found. And you know, you gotta know your audience. You gotta know what the class dynamic is. You gotta know what the pulse of the class is to know, like, can you give them more technical stuff or can you give them more fun stuff?
I feel like that the biggest, and I don't want to say problem because I don't know what everybody else is doing and all that stuff, but I feel like that the biggest hang up that some of the woodworking teachers in our area get caught up in is that whole student interest. They're still doing stuff that doesn't really interest the kids. I've had kids come in and make 8 longboards in a year because as soon as they finished one, they wanted to have a different one for this. They wanted to make their neighbor want that. And they just, you know, they want to ride them. They want to do different shapes, different molds, drop decks, pintails, concave. I mean, because they all have different feels and using different materials, glued up different ways. It's amazing how in depth they get into that, where I don't have to teach at that point. At that point, I'm just like, there you go. But yeah, if I, like I said, if I go and I start talking about right off the bat about dovetails, box joints, wood movement, glues, I mean, clamps, you name it, I feel like I've already lost them at that point. And then it's me just trying to inspire them, like trying to get them to go along with what I'm doing because it's the class and I told you to, and you know, that sort of stuff, rather than, hey, guess what we're doing today? You know, let's go. Or is it my turn on the press yet? I can't wait to get that board in there. You know, it's just a whole different whole different thing. When you start looking at everything around from the perspective of the student, the class changes, the projects change, the environment changes. When I really step back and look at it, like I said, I've never been more impressed with the projects that we've made in the last few years in my whole career. So, if I don't care what people, board office or I don't really care what any of them say. Usually they don't say anything anyway, because we've had close to 50 articles in the last 3 years. So we get so much publicity on the stuff that, they're just kind of like, all right, you're good. You've given us, we're the second biggest district in Michigan. They spend, I don't even know how much money on all these specialty programs and get like 1 or 2 articles on it a year. This past summer, we were in SUP International Magazine. People build boards for a living, have businesses, been dying to get into that magazine. And here we are, just a bunch of shop kids. We just kind of laugh about it, but proud of it all at the same time. When we talk about some of these celebrities, hey, who do you want to build a board for? I don't know. Let's try this person or whatever. All right, well, let's see what happens. Next thing you know, hey, let's start building surfboards, because really this year's our first year building surfboards. Hey, we should build Kelly Slater a surfboard. All right, let's try it. 2 months later, I got Kelly's phone number in my phone. Text me, we're building them a surfboard.
So awesome.
It's I don't know. You just start putting that vibe out there, and it's crazy what comes back, because I'm not doing any of that. Not doing any of this to really make any money. I'm not benefiting personally from any of this stuff. It's just fun with the kids. And I think a lot of these celebrities and big name people, they get asked for stuff nonstop. So if you get the opportunity to give them something and they know that it's really no personal gain for us, it's just about motivating students, they're usually all for it. Now celebrities are a little different with, like, if we were a business and I'd send them a shirt and I want a picture of them with my shirt and my logo because I'm trying to sell, that's a whole different thing. Like, I don't even know that world, because no one's paying me to wear shirts, but like, they know that where I'm coming from, it's just a legit, honest thing that is just for fun, and they get something cool out of it. So now when we give it to them, we want them to look at it and go, holy shit, this was made by high school students. And that's really where then the word of mouth comes in, because then it's started out with, I got some shop kids going to build something for me. Yeah, right. Like, how's this thing going to turn out? Like that whole stereotype. But then when they see it and they're looking at it like, holy cow, that's a $4,000 or $5,000 board there. Mm-hmm. And it looks like a $4,000 or $5,000 board. Now it's a whole different thing, So it's I don't know. We're just rolling with it.
Yeah. I'm guilty of the same thing. So, I went for the big splash when I first got the job. We started building like a go-kart, and then we made a more improved go-kart because I thought it'd be cool and it was fun. And then it worked out great. And then we did an electric car, which was like, oh my God, it gave so much attention. But then the problem became that we couldn't do an electric car every year, and not all the kids, they don't get to drive the electric car. That's their first question. Hey, can I drive it? Nah, sorry, you can't drive it. And they're like, it's like a downer, So we did 1 or 2 other cars, but now we switched into smaller projects that they then get the fire, like the spark from. So like, we'll do like a lawnmower project, but they have to run it. They have to start it up. It has to work for them. Yeah.
I got a challenge for you.
Okay.
Before you retire, I want you to build mini custom choppers.
Oh yeah.
Those mini custom choppers. I am telling you that will blow up like wildfire. Those kids will be all about that. You don't have, I mean, choppers would be sweet, but they're ridiculous expensive. You
Right.
get you do the minis. It's a lot less expensive. You could do a auction at the end of the year or whatever to help
I like
raise
it.
funds for it. I'm telling you, there'll be motorcycle companies and stuff that'll be all about it because you're getting them interested in bikes. The kids
All
will
right.
love it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Yeah,
I'm telling
I
you.
want to get into bicycles, and that makes sense. A chopper's basically a bicycle with an engine on it.
If I'm a kid and I'm just a kid anyway, but I mean I'm just older kid now. But like if I walk into a school and there's a class and they're building mini choppers, I'm all over that class.
Yeah,
I'm in it.
totally.
You know, and then there's that enthusiasm that when they see what they can build, like when they come in, you got to have one like for them to look at and see.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And the other thing I got into was small competitions. I find that lights the fire as well. Whereas, I mean, that was a break from where I was. We were working on the cars, and it was, I mean, you could work on the car for the whole year and not be done. So that dragged. I noticed that was dragging after a while. So that I broke from that. And we do these smaller competitions. But you're right, it would be better. Make smaller vehicles that they can actually use. In a way, that's what you're doing. These boards are vehicles.
Yeah. I would do soapbox derbies if we could figure out some way with liability and have like a track. You guys ever see like the Red Bull where they're like jumping stuff? I would be all about that.
Yeah.
That would be a blast. And there's so much creative problem solving and stuff in there.
There's a guy in Texas that builds go-karts, and they just go go-kart racing, like on an actual track and everything, and they compete.
Yeah,
could you guys? Hey, sorry, Chris.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, could you do like the drift bikes? Because a lot of those guys didn't. Chris, I didn't get to watch. It wasn't obviously last week, but when I was checking out Chris's thing from last week, didn't he build a drift bike with his son or something? And he chopped up like an old bicycle.
Yeah. That's a great idea.
Go get old bicycles and make drift bikes or whatever. I mean,
we should just chop them up. 100%. Yeah.
Or see what kind of crazy concoction the kids come up with.
Yeah, Chris Rocky Hernandez. He was doing that was a great idea, actually.
The thing is too is like when you start doing stuff like that, work becomes not work anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's so hard because you get stuck in, like I was stuck in that rut for a long time of that. And I hate to say rut because I didn't really know I was in it. I just thought it was like my job, you know. This is just what we do. But once we got out of that, it just became a lot more fun for everybody.
Yeah, I know what you mean. This is we interviewed a guy last week. He's a Raytheon engineer, aerospace, but he's building like a little shop class with his kid, and they chopped up a bike because they saw Colin Furze do it, and so they're like, "Yeah, let's do this thing." And so, here's like a highlight reel of him putting a bike together. Obviously, it looks like it was like MacGyver easy, like a montage,
right.
rock and roll, and it's done,
Right.
And then you put these little, I think it's PVC pipe over the wheel, and it slips. So then when you're done, you automatically have like a slippery thing. Yeah, there you go. That would be awesome. 100%. I don't know what I'm doing. I gotta do stuff like this. It's crazy.
I mean, even if some of the stuff doesn't work out,
yeah, who cares?
It doesn't matter,
Nah, you could throw it out when you're done. It doesn't even matter.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the
cool.
thing is,
look at that. Kids loving it.
Right. Chances are, by the time you're done with it, you will have realized what you would need to do different next time to be able to make this project successful or whatever. And that's that's really what it is.
That's awesome. Let's go back for just a sec. We got Matt coming up. He's going to give us an update. But I want to ask you a technical question. The one thing that is a mystery to me is the press. So,
vacuum press?
Yeah. So you're not using a press, and you're not using the blow up press, you're using a vacuum.
Yeah, so just think of like a sandwich bag hooked up
Okay.
to a pump that sucks the air out.
All right. Okay.
Here, let's see if I got a better photo of it.
Okay. Oh yeah, we're gonna get to Matt in a sec. Yeah, so basically once you put all these things together, then what you do is you then vacuum press it. So it's like a bag.
It's like a big Ziploc bag with a nozzle hooked up to a pump. So the pump just sucks the air out of the bag
Yeah.
Boom.
and then and presses it down.
Okay. And what kind of vacuum do you hook up to that?
It's just a pump.
That's it?
Yeah.
So if you go to, let's say, if you go to this website for
Go to vacupress.com.
Okay. Vacuum press.
Yep.
Is this it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, it looks like it. That?
Yep. We have the blue one.
You're kidding.
And we just bought that table actually.
Huh.
Now, that's extreme.
Yeah.
Like, but I have 4 vacuum presses in my shop. So I wanted one. We definitely do the snowboards on that one just because it's easier to get them in and out. But all of our bending stuff, all of our veneer laminations or marquetry stuff, all that's done in the vacuum press.
And all it is a bag. And then you just turn this thing on and what, you leave it overnight or how do you?
Yep. So our longboards for like the drop decks and stuff, or like the concave, just sitting on a mold in the vacuum press there.
Wow. No kidding.
And that runs all night.
Yep.
See, they would never allow that in my school. Like they would never.
You gotta
allow
break some rules, man.
So Tim,
they had a fire. There was a fire in my school recently, so now they're like, they're very, very sensitive to like anything that's running like at night.
well,
I light the place on fire every year.
they have a furnace running, right?
Yeah, no. I know what you mean. No, I know exactly what you mean. It's just that
I don't. Here's the other thing: is I don't ask. And they don't have a clue what any of this stuff is.
Greg's taking notes right here. This guy's at the board level, I think. He's taking notes. He's getting the truth. Greg, cover your ears. Earmuffs for Greg.
We break the rules. We break the rules.
So let me.
There is no rule, though. You know what I mean?
No, I know.
Like there's no. I guarantee you, in your contract or with the school board or anything, there's no rules. It's just a guy or a girl that just decided to come up with it says you can't do that. There's no rule on it.
No, we had our safety office tell us we can't have gasoline in the cars in the auto shop. I'm like,
Okay.
All right. How are we gonna run them?
Right.
So here's
I lit the place on fire once. The fire department came. It was great. It's a lot of fun. You gotta
just teach the kids how to use a fire extinguisher, the ABC, and pulling the pin and sweeping. Yeah, I mean, what a great hands-on experience.
So for the pump that we got now and the press that we have now, it'll shut off once it gets to a certain pressure.
How much?
And then once so much air leaves and the pressure starts going down, then the pump will kick back on again, pump it back up, and then shut off again.
Hey Tim, do they make you turn off your air compressor, unplug the air compressor now because of it? Because that's really, you're probably talking less of an engine or a motor than
way bigger.
So we had there was a fire in a building back in September. Light ballast or something caught fire in a janitorial closet, and then at the same time I started bringing some of this lumber in that we had milled 4 years ago that was just air drying. Well, it was still damp, so I had like an industrial fan and a literally one of those like office fans that just swivels a little bit. And at night, I would let the office fan just run. It wasn't like the big industrial fan was running. It was just this little oscillated fan that would just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They told me I can't leave that plugged in at night.
So all right, it's because I've run into a few different things with this. First thing is, my first response if I feel like someone's like trying to be a hard ass about something like that, my first response is, well, what I'm doing is I'm teaching wood bending and marquetry, and this is how you do it. So I'm paid to teach how to do this. This is what you need to do it. Do you not want me to teach my curriculum? And if that's the case, I need you to put that in an email and send it to me.
I mean, just to put it in perspective, Timmy does beautifully high skill work with his students. He does these bowl turnings.
Yeah, I've seen those. They're awesome.
They're so awesome.
Yeah.
But I totally get that this is like a high skill, maybe a high school kid. Some kids are probably, I'm going to guess, some kids are into it, some are not.
Yeah, it's just like with anything. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I'm just saying, in my situation, in my school, I mean, every school district is different. And some you can bend the rules, some you can do things outside of the rules and things like that. And I'm just saying, based on my experience right now with my administration and my, I guess, upper leadership in the building, they're panicky Pete's. So,
I'm telling you,
you can't. These are the guys
all
that
that goes away
serving us
with
too.
us.
So how many of do you really want to piss them off? That's the other thing.
Well, what I'm saying is all that goes away with positive press.
Yep. 100%.
My administrator that evaluates me marked me down for, God, what was it one year? It was for something about not doing a community project when we literally built baseball bat racks for the minor league team that they just built a stadium in our town. And I was marked down for it because it was not an every year thing. And I'm like, I thought I was just being evaluated on this year. Now this guy, after building boards for Richard Branson and all this other stuff and all these pros, he comes in, my evaluations, it's like, it's nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not questioned on anything like that anymore. It's more like,
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, I'm telling you, all that stuff goes away because here's the thing is, if they're telling you not to do the stuff that you're getting all the press for, they don't want to be that person either.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing politics. And as much as I try to stay out of it, the press just makes all that stuff go away.
Yep.
It does.
I agree. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you with this, but I'm just telling you right now, the culture in the building is
Gotta break it.
It'll change.
Like we've also said, it ebb and flows. Some years it's going to be better than others.
Yeah.
Like right now, they're sensitive because of this fire issue. So I get it. They're sensitive. Okay.
But you know that there's no rule that says this stuff, right?
Right. Probably.
And there's no real rule. And so if you don't ask them, chances are they wouldn't even know anyway. What's that pump? Oh, it's for when we're doing the.
Yeah.
When I first got the job, there was something that my supervisor, he did my job for 30 years. He said something to me that set the tone. He really did me a favor. He said, don't get used to this, kid. That's what he said. That's how he said it. He said, hey, don't get used to this, kid. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, it's an elective. They could just riff you anytime. I'm like, riff? What's that? He's like, you could be the best teacher in the world, and they could just cut the budget and cut out your whole program or slice you out of there because you're not, senior yet or whatever.
Sure.
And I was like, whoa. So I was like, okay, so this is on the chopping block every single year. So that means if you don't take a risk, you're not going to have a program the year after. Now, that's pretty extreme, but that's how I treated the program. I just thought, all right, well, we're not going to have a program next year. So I might as well build something crazy and hit the press with it. You know, on years that I do notice that on years that I don't take a risk, evaluations change. My duty starts to be. They start to assign me to things. But then on years where I'm killing it, they don't even talk to me about it. They're just like, oh yeah, how do we help you kick butt? I'm like, whoa, you know, so you got to take a risk, otherwise they're just gonna ride you, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like the press and stuff like that. I mean, even just to get the ball rolling, if you make something for somebody, like even just like the local fire department or police chief or something, pick a random person, contact somebody from a paper and say, you know, we just want to thank you for your service, and here, give them one of your bowls. You know, your woodworking's highlighted. You got a positive press release. Do that 3-4 times a year, and it'll start evolving. You know, it just will.
Oh, I'm not denying any of that. I'm just, like I said, I'm just telling you, it's culture. You know, it's every school has its own culture and has its own, you know, things that have happened. And so, yeah, certain years it's easier versus harder, you know. So but I was just saying, like, how do you get away with some of this stuff? Because
but here's the thing: is nothing I'm doing is dangerous in any possible way.
No, I know that. Yeah, I know that. Yeah,
that pump is designed to run overnight. That pump is designed to not shut off.
Yeah.
So all I'm doing is using the equipment the way that it was intended to be used. So if somebody's really going to try to make that argument, they're really just making an argument at me because of something with me, not because of the actual thing that I'm doing.
Well,
so I was doing something dangerous. Well, at first I wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
I kind of agree with, I mean, I think you should just do it, ask for forgiveness if somebody says something, but take an extra measure, put a GFCI on it, get one of those little GFI that you can buy at Home Depot. So if there's any type of electrical fault in the device, it'll trip the GFI.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, and of course I do things that are, you know, like you said, you ask for forgiveness, you know, like you do it until somebody tells you to stop. And then that's usually about it. And then a couple months later, you undo it, and then you start doing it again. I mean,
how often are people in your shop, and how much do they know about woodworking?
Probably more than I would like to admit that people are in and out of the shop. And the director of facilities walks up and down our hallway all the time. So they always have a pulse of what's going on, you know.
Interesting.
Right. I mean, I don't know.
I don't have any visitors at all.
Tim must have just pissed off the right people.
Yeah, what's going on
there?
Tim also got in trouble for walking on the wrong side of the hall.
I tell that story all the time that Tim told.
What district are you in, Tim? What school district?
Well, I can basically say this. I work at a school district in Warren County, New Jersey, which is in the northwest corner of New Jersey. That's what I can say. I'm not supposed to say where I work, but you can Google my name and find out where I work.
No, basically, look, this is it's very similar.
Like, that's what I got to deal with. Like,
Yeah.
and
This is
this
very
says
similar
Hillsborough.
to-
This is where I used to work.
I'm telling you, set a goal. Four articles before the end of the year. Set a goal. I'm telling you, this stuff will change because
I know it does. I know it does. You're right. You're not telling me something I don't know, Chris. I mean, it really is.
And then make sure you personally mail those articles to administration and board directors.
Yep.
Oh, you post them.
And sign and autograph them for those people.
I do a newsletter. I up even during COVID. I know that they're thinking, oh, the shop teacher, we're paying him and he's not doing anything. No. We're doing online CAD, and I record videos and I send emails out to the administration all the time. Hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. check out what we're doing. You should take a look at this. Hey, real quick about the press. One more press question, and then I think we're gonna not the written press, but the pressure.
Right.
Timmy's under pressure over here.
Yeah.
Okay, one more question. I see that at Burton they got this big dog here, and it seems that it doesn't actually move down like a hydraulic press, like for pushing out bearings and stuff like that.
So,
But it's got a bag. So what's going on here, and why is your vacuum bag usable?
so they don't. All right. So
yeah,
this right here, they are.
see the bag's inflating.
Well, they don't have a bag. That's not a bag.
Oh.
For this type of press here, they have heat in it. So that is hot. So when they press that, it cures that epoxy. Their board is popped out of the press in 3 to 4 minutes, where ours runs overnight.
Oh, got it. Speed. Interesting.
All about speed. And each one of those back there, so each one of those is a different board, a different shape, a different, just a different design. But they can kick those things out.
Got it. These are like cartridges.
Yep. They pop that out, put the next one in, and then
cool, man.
because they got it. Well, I'm telling you, even this is like there's not like a company that builds shops for snowboard builders.
So this is all custom, right?
Yeah. There's a hose hooked up to that. A guy named Jerry hooked that thing up. That's it. And this is Burton.
Yeah.
But
I love
these
that.
are mechanical guys that are smart people that, they figure stuff out. They're those types of guys. And that's why they're in there building the best boards around.
All right, this is really cool, Chris. I really appreciate this. We got into the psychology of how to run your career. We got the projects. We got the process. This is honestly the whole reason that the Shop Class podcast exists is exactly for Tim's question. How do you do it? How do you keep the program alive? How do you keep blood running through it? How do you keep the spark alive? That's the whole shit. We just want to be inspired. And Chris, you brought it tonight. I really appreciate that.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah. So you can stick around. We're going to do a quick intro of Greg, and then we're going to go to Matt for an update on his house, which is like insane. I don't know if you guys know, but Matt's building a house, literally builds a house as the classroom. Talk about out of the box, Timmy. He's not even in the school. He's not even in the school. He's not even at the school. He's at a totally different location where they're building a house. It's unbelievable. All right. So, yeah. Okay. So moving to the next thing. Now, I just want to introduce real quick. Greg was nice enough to join us and bring in Bill. Basically, okay. When I was, well, I'll just show you. Basically, what Greg, you want to just say hi for a second?
Hi for a second.
Okay, good. So
go ahead.
Yeah, Greg,
you're good. You're good.
Greg works in Southern California, and I think he's some sort of supervisor position, but he's a shop guy. He also has a YouTube channel where he interviews motor builders, and these guys are like 80 years old, and they're building V12s out of like a home-built shop, and they're doing like almost 1,000 horsepower, and they're blowing the doors off of the competition that brings like a casted LS engine and whatnot. So Greg, where do you work again?
Okay, so I work for San Diego Unified School District. I've been in education for 24 years. I started as an automotive instructor at Madison High School and taught automotive for about 8 or 9 years. And then I, when you're talking, Chris was talking about all the things and thinking out of the box. We used to do the same stuff. We had to keep it alive and different. And so then I went in after 9 years of teaching. I was asked to go into the central office to help supervise and manage what we used to call ROP teachers, regional occupation. you guys back on the East Coast probably reference that as vocational education. Now it's shifted and now it's called career technical education, right? You can't say the word vocational anymore, or shop, but I still do. Anyway, so now I work in basically creating curriculum, and I'm a resource to about 80 teachers, automotive, building trades and construction, screen printing, photography, engineering, manufacturing, product development. I also do have some support at the middle school level as well. So I've got a lot of education experience, and I am kind of always on the fence, right? So I'm that odd guy who works in the central office who really stands behind the teachers. I'm not there to beat them up. I'm there to help them. And we've been very successful in the last, 10 years. I was able to actually rebuild 5 brand new automotive facilities from the ground up. In the state of California, there were some funds available. It was called Proposition 1D. And we applied and wrote grants, and we were funded, and we built we built 6 automotive facilities ranging from $4 to $6 million a piece, state of the art. And I've done some building trades and construction as well. So we do quite a bit. Right now, it's very interesting, guys, because in San Diego Unified, I don't know if you're seeing this in your districts, but we have a third of our teachers out right now every day. One of our high schools had 31 teachers absent the other day because of coronavirus. So I got pulled out of my desk job, which is very hard for me. And Ron, that's why I do the YouTube stuff, and I still turn wrenches on cars, because I don't solve problems with responding to an email. That's not how I solve problems. I use all my 10 millimeter wrench and my DVOM or my scan tool.
Yeah.
That's how I solve problems, is going out and get it done. I'm a hands-on guy, so I have to, I got to stay engaged. But I do a lot of cool projects with our teachers. But this last couple weeks, I've been substituting, so I'm back in the classroom because there's no one there right now.
Wow.
And I've been subbing my automotive class that I used to teach back in the day, and it's kind of interesting. Some of the conversations that Chris said earlier about keeping these kids engaged and keeping them excited with what they want to do. And I'm saying this, and I know none of my teachers are on this meeting tonight, and I know Bill is far enough away from my teacher, so he won't say this, but it was interesting because the lesson that was left for me from this automotive teacher for the next 3 weeks is to teach the kids about manual transmissions for 3 weeks, like bookwork for 3. And I'm like, dude, I could be done with this in a day. Here's what you need to know, because they're high school kids. We don't need to know how everything works inside the transmission. It's like, how do you top it off? How do you drain the transmission? Where do you fill it? How much does it take? These are the things we need to teach them. We don't need to teach them about the evolution of the transmission. You're going to lose them in the first 20 minutes.
Yep.
So you got to keep it live. You got to keep it going. So, I like to kind of think out of the box. I kind of like, I've only known you guys now for an hour on this group, but I kind of like the conversations. I see, what's going, and I monitor a lot of teachers, and I see where they're successful. And the ones that are successful are the ones that are thinking out of the box. They're doing it differently. They're keeping the students engaged. Whether it be the visual stimulation on the wall, whether they got the background music going, the level of trust, letting the kids have free range of building projects or designing something in an engineering classroom. So it's very interesting. So to hear
That's awesome.
That's kind of where I'm at.
That's great. And it's kind of the crazy thing is the way I met Greg over the internet, obviously, but is that a friend of mine he's kind of like a self-taught, and then he went to anyway, basically he was building Lamborghinis with twin turbos on them and stuff like that. And he had this idea of building an engine from scratch at home with sheet metal plates. And then what happened was, so this is the interview that Greg did with someone from San Diego that's building these V12s that are they're made from plates, and it's all custom built. And then, so my friend emailed me. He's like, "Hey, you got to check this out. This guy goes around, and he's a San Diego shop teacher, and he just interviews the old timers that are building these custom build engines." It's like, wow, that's cool. And then we got in touch through it. So it's just like wild. And then he knows some of the teachers that taught me in San Diego that taught me about electric cars in 2008. So it's a very small world. And I'm so glad he's here because this is like the full circle. The Shop Class podcast is the place where we share these ideas and bring old connections back together. It's like awesome. So it's great that you're here, man.
No, thank you for having me. And this is like a cool thing. And this whole YouTube thing, guys. It's really, I didn't go out and try to do it. I started posting a couple videos of these guys racing. Like this motor right here, you see, that's their V12, and that is 5.9 liters. It produces 920 horsepower. The 80-year-old right here, Pete, built it, and he's setting land speed records with it. And he's competing in the Chevy 350 class. So that's the same displacement as an LS motor or a Chevy 350, but it's V12, 10,000 RPM. And these guys are pure geniuses. And
10,000 RPM.
10,000 RPM.
It's basically a Ferrari engine.
Well, it is. And, and it's funny because, that's got 219,000 views. And you'll get, most of those are positive comments. But what drew me into this, kind of like you were saying, again, getting back to the education thing, like how when you see the kids get excited, then you get excited. And I put these videos up and I read the comments and I get 300 or 400 comments and I see people from all over the world and they're saying, dude, you made my day. You made somebody's day because they're watching somebody weld an engine block together. I'm like, wow, I never thought that. But like this right here, there's Pete, the older gentleman, and he's building a 2-liter engine to compete with the Honda S2000. So if you guys are shop guys, Honda S2000 is the highest displacement engine on the market. But he doesn't want to run a Honda engine. That's not exciting. That's boring. Anyone can go get a Honda engine and put it in a car. So he's building his own. And so what I like about this guy at 80 years old is that he doesn't stick to one brand. And if you guys are shop teachers and around cars, you know that, I'm a Ford guy and I only like Fords, or I'm an Oldsmobile guy because my uncle had an no, these guys are really cool. At 80 years old, he's studying Honda, he's studying Ferrari, he's studying Porsche, and he's studying. So he takes the best designs from these engines and puts it into his own. And then he goes out and kicks everyone's butt on the racetrack. He has 33 land speed records. And some people will try their entire life and never get one. And it's amazing how he does it. I know that. By
the way, it's even if you have the money, it is very difficult to get these land speed records. 2 summers ago, I went with EV West to Bonneville, and it's extremely difficult. We had to go to the start line like 10 times before we even got the car to run correctly, and then the driver had to figure it out. There's a lot of factors that go into this stuff. You're out in the elements. It is not easy to do what this guy has done.
Yeah. And Tim, I saw on Tim's Instagram, I think you're a Model A guy, right? You're a Ford Model A. So Pete Ardema holds the Guinness Book of World Records for the fastest Model A in the world at 240 miles an hour. Because the way he used the engine block of a Model A and redesigned it with a Subaru cylinder heads and goes out to Bonneville and goes 240 miles an hour. I mean, just unbelievable the way he does these things. So
that's cool.
Pretty cool stuff. So I kind of got drawn into it, and I got, hundreds of people saying, hey, we want to see the cylinder head or we want to see the crankshaft. And I do a video on, really honestly to me, because I've been around it all my life, I'm like, watching a guy lap a valve is really boring. But boy, I did a valve lapping one and everybody loved it. I'm like, okay, so what do we do next? But
where's the sheet metal one where it shows?
That's the third one of our homemade sheet metal engine.
This is very interesting to me. I want to do this in a Briggs and Stratton and have the kids build engines from scratch. I mean, imagine that. And then Chris Davis, sorry, I will put it on a chopper. Look at this. Look at this. Just a preview of this. They're talking about it, and he's drawing it out, obviously, because he could, old school guys, they can do everything.
Yeah.
Draw.
He doesn't know how to send a text message, but he can build these killer engines.
Yeah. And I like that you actually animated this, right? You had, at some point in the film, you actually got someone to do an animation. Am I right?
Are you talking about him drawing it, you mean?
No, somebody, I can't remember where it is in the film. Oh, maybe.
Animation.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was a different video.
I don't know how to do that yet. You guys got to show me. I'm still figuring this out.
Oh, that we could work on, man. That would be cool. Actually, maybe I could help you with that.
Right there's, you can let it right there, and if you play it right there, you'll see that's a sheet metal engine that he.
crazy.
I mean, and he's talking, it's just very interesting the stuff he does.
Look at this thing, Streamliner. Insane.
So,
yeah.
Ron, are you able to play audio on any of these or no?
I can. I always just kept it off because I just
no.
assume that you get like a copyright strike by doing that. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
No. There's one other, a short one that I just put up that I think these guys would be interested in seeing. It's the one where they run the V12 on the dyno. It's only about a minute long, but just to understand, I think it's down a little bit more. Scroll down. You got to hit all videos, the tab at the top.
Okay.
And then let me see it. It is the one on the dyno. It's Insane V. It's the second row, all the way over to the right, almost to the end. Right, the next one over right there. So if you could put audio on, it's only a minute, but I just want these guys to understand what a homemade V12 can do. I don't know if they can hear the audio.
Yeah, let's get to it. Ready?
Each of them working on it, putting it together and starting it up. Yeah, you could forward it to the dyno. Well, it's going to come up in a second.
Yeah, it's a short video. Oh, it's probably a screamer, man. 10,000 RPM.
Okay.
By the way, Enzo Ferrari started he was an engine builder for Alfa. So this is kind of similar. You're just looking at early Ferrari guy, but in a different.
Right here. Okay. I don't know if you got audio. No. No audio.
Boom!
I think he's hearing the audio.
Oh, you don't hear it?
No.
Hold on. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I know how to do it.
Not to take away from this, but I think, it's pretty interesting to see what these guys
We're going to do it. Here we go.
You can go back.
I can't even handle this.
Yeah, it's pretty neat though that you think that's made in someone's garage. He's 80 years old.
That's amazing.
That's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, great. I love that you did this YouTube. Listen, you're going to come back and we're going to do a deeper dive.
I want to come back, and I also want to just give I know Bill's here, but if you guys
Bill.
1 second, because Bill's doing some stuff that reaches shop programs all over this country, and
okay, Bill.
I think there's a lot more we can build on. Bill, if you want to just take a second and tell them what you've got going on.
Oh, unmute yourself. Muted. Sorry.
Okay, you guys good?
Yep.
All right. Well, first of all, everybody's cool here. So otherwise I would have kind of chunked out already, but I love what you guys are doing. We're all in this crazy world we know we're doing the right thing for the kids, and we got all the suits and stuff like that. So I'm fortunate enough to have a NASA connection. I'm talking about NASA, not the car racing NASA, but National Aeronautics Space Administration. And they get it. Okay. These are the coolest guys on the planet. I'm not kidding you. Transportation and technology, for them, it goes together. They respect people that work with their hands. It's a completely different deal. So I put together a diversity summit that I'm doing, and I want you guys to be a part of it. It's going to be next month in February. I'll get Greg and what's your name? It just shows up Shop Class Podcast.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm Ron, Mr. G, but basically Ron. Yeah, Mr. G's Workshop on Instagram, and basically I'm Ron. How you doing?
Okay, so Ron, I'll get you all the information. It's going to be one button. In fact, Ron, I might even have you say some things, because we had 270,000 views last year. It was the first time out. This time we think we're going to get 1 million viewers in 3 days to just talk about what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, and hopefully it can open up all these administrators and all these naysayers that don't know what the hell they're talking about. So that's my deal. I've been doing car stuff for 30 something years. I do know a lot of people in the industry, especially older people. Ed Escuderian, 100 years old, John Morton, famous race car driver, Jay Leno, all these people, and they know me with trying to help and never leaving the kids, especially the high school students.
And Bill, I got to brag about Bill. He's blood relative to Katherine Johnson. So can you just plug that real quick? Do you guys know who Katherine Johnson is?
No, sorry. Who's that?
Oh, that's how I got the NASA relationship. It certainly is not my looks, and I didn't pay
There's a
for
movie
it.
made about her.
Oh,
So Catherine, she's the one who helped us do the trajectory to get us up on the
are
moon.
you kidding? From Hidden Figures?
That's it.
Yes.
That's
You're
relative.
joking me. Get out of here.
Don't we
Wow.
look alike? So
I just got chills down my back. You serious,
Yeah.
man?
No,
yeah. Unfortunately,
I think space travel is
she-
like one of the most important things we do.
yeah,
Thank you for your thank her for the work she's doing. Oh my God.
well, we can. She actually can help us get the credit, because actually what she was doing is transportation and technology.
Yeah.
The same stuff that we're doing is just we're working on a lawnmower engine, and NASA's working with rockets. It's the same stuff. You get a digital multimeter, you do Ohm's law, and it's the same damn thing.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, let's work on something. I would love to help you guys out, which, basically, yeah, as long as we keep this conversation going between the engineers and the shop teachers and the craftsmen and the tradespeople, this shop class podcast has really grown. We're talking to building trade science, which that's like, and contractors, efficient houses, all the way to, we had a NASA engineer on. Now we got engine builders, and now first time we've had administrator on, which I think is cool. And we, administrator in a good way for this guy.
Okay.
Greg's all right.
Yeah.
And Bill's got the Wright brothers in the background. He's got the right idea, man. That's cool. This is very cool. Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you what I can tell you. I can get a NASA administrator on here. I'm not kidding you, because
Yeah, we've done that before.
yeah, because let me tell you something, man. I'm telling you, these guys are the coolest people on the planet. I mean, I would have never thought that these guys are NASA are that cool, to be honest with you.
Because they're hands on for real. They got to make stuff. I was talking to Greg just the other day, and I used to say you can't read how to ride a bicycle, and he's got a better analogy. You can't read how to swim. It's even better.
That's it.
Well, Bill's definitely got some good connections, and we've, when we were in the pandemic, we did a lot of stuff. Bill's good friends with Mad Mike from Pimp My Rides and Rodney Allen.
Nice.
In fact, we might be doing something with Mad Mike tomorrow with our auto shop students.
Wow.
So there's a lot of connections and a lot of synergy, and we did some good stuff during the pandemic. So I really like your podcast. I think this is great, and I'd love to help you grow it too if I can bring more people to the table. I've got plenty of teachers I would love to join in. I think it's a great thing just to be able to, I got a couple construction teachers as well.
Yeah, we're always looking for guests. The whole thing is to learn about basically exactly what you saw with Chris Davis. Hey, what do you do in the classroom? Oh, and then we also interview tradespeople and engineers. Hey, what could we do in the classroom? Hey, what are you doing out in the world? Like, what's going on? And we need to keep this conversation going, because the whole thing started because the shop teachers were kind of isolated. You're stuck in your district. You're unsure. You don't know if you could jump out of the box. You don't really know. If you find out that someone else is on the daily just killing it, you're like, wait, why can't I do that? And then you kind of trade ideas, and that's the whole point.
So, well, thanks for having us. This is really
fun. So put your email in the chat here, and Matt is gonna put you in the email list so you get the emails. But I got Greg's info, and we'll just stay in touch. And I get out to San Diego every summer anyway. So I'm sure I'll meet you guys in person one day.
Yeah.
This is for a second here, just to plug the show a little. We had a former student of my school. She's an alumni, graduated before I got there. But this is it says Peter Alvarez, but it's not Peter. It's I'm so sorry. I forgot her first name for a second. But she is a NASA engineer.
One of the things that
Erica Alvarez, right? And she's working on bringing the NASA back to the moon. And she's like a coordinator, but she knows all the hands-on stuff. I mean, they even, they like blow up the welds to test them and stuff. And she understands the mission. So she gave us like an overview of like how they're going to get ready to go back to the moon and what they're going to do once they get there, and what it's going to look like. So that was a pretty cool show. It's great hearing about this because, in the normal everyday life, I don't think people realize how important space travel is, and they don't really hear about it. You're not going to hear about it on the news. You're going to hear about it on the YouTube channels and in emails and stuff like that. So, so it's kind of like you got to reach out to get all these information.
Hey, Chris.
Oh, he might have.
Hey, Chris, can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know if he's still there. His login's there, but he might not be there. But we'll relay a message if you got it.
No, it's not Chris, but yeah, who's the guy that's talking?
Ron. It's
me, Ron. How you doing?
Oh, Ron. It's Ron. So
yeah.
So that program that you're talking about, that's called the Artemis Program.
Yeah, Artemis, right?
Yeah, that based what the Artemis is. That's the twin female sister to the Apollo. So I know all about the NASA, why we're going back, when we're going. I could talk forever about it.
You're coming back. Listen, Greg, Bill, you're coming back for a show. You know what happened was, to be honest, I double booked. You guys were Greg was actually booked for tonight, and then I forgot, and I scheduled another guest.
Just let us know when. Let me know when. I'll
yeah, I think we're gonna do either late January or February. And we're going to make it happen. By the way, next week we got Jimmy DeResta. He's kind of like a YouTube famous dude. He's like a maker. He does everything hand built. It's a pretty cool thing.
Cool.
All right. Thanks for coming in. You guys could stick around. We got to get an update from Matt. He's the one building. This is like a shop class from heaven. Can you imagine you don't have to go into the school? You actually go to a job site. I mean, that's like incredible, all right, Matt, give us an update. All right.
Yeah. Hey, man, I'm glad I was able to get on tonight. I'm teaching Wednesday nights now. I'm teaching a plumbing class over at the community college. So one of my former students, we can get him graduated so he can be one of our CTE teachers next fall. All right. Yeah. So I mean,
you're running out of teachers, right?
Shit, right? Everywhere. I've even sent out reached out to Nick to, we're in Illinois. We're just reaching out to Nick to see if he had any connections at his old alma mater, just so we can get potential leads, see if anybody wants to move from the East Coast. But most, all the guys on here know, except for you guys, the new ones know, my class and I, we build a house, and what we've been doing is kind of doing an update here every week. Mark, I see, is on Build Small. I don't know if Mark is on or near his computer if you can hear, but as far as what the update, as far as what we got done here since school started, it hasn't been too much because we had some cold days. So since we don't have any temp heat in the house yet, or we can't hold heat in the house yet, we had to hang at the school and the shop and get a couple things done, especially in the mornings and in the afternoon classes. We were able to get over there, but pretty much what's going on here for the big stuff. Mark, Willie, and Bob Kelly, who both, Mark's here sitting there on the show, and Bob, who's been a guest on the show as well, talked about his products that he has with Whitwright. They are coming down to Taylorville from Chicago area, and they'll be on the job site with me and the kids tomorrow afternoon and Friday morning. So we're going to be doing our rain screen, which is the ventilation gap that goes behind our siding on the exterior of the house. That's what Bob's products are going to be providing for us. So he's going to be coming down and bringing product and doing an install with the kids. We'll have our Tommy TV camera crew there, documenting the process and all that good stuff. So that should be fun.
What's the Instagram for the outside product that you're talking about?
Type in Bob Kelly.
Okay. Oh, Bob Kelly. Yeah.
Remember Bob was on right before break. Yep, there is Bob Kelly right there.
Oh, he's great. He's great.
Yeah, really good. Really good. So
if Mark Willie's going to be there, I'm sure he'll keep everyone updated on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
I think Mark Willie's the internet himself. Like,
is he not, Duke? I swear. Like, Mark must not be able to hear us yet. I'm not sure, or he could be. You know what? Mark is probably on like another podcast or something or webcast thing going on right now.
He's the best. He literally looks like this logo. This is the guy.
Yeah. And so, obviously we on here, know Mark and stuff and what he does. And he has been a awesome collaborator for me, getting me connected with even more of the industry than what I had, had already gotten connected with. Like, it just keeps going deeper and deeper. And Mark, obviously, and Bob too. I mean, both are just so in love with what we all do as shop teachers and trades teachers and everything. And I mean, talk about people are just, in it to keep improving things and ever expanding results. I think it's what Mark always posts on his stuff. So they're coming down. So they'll be here for a couple days. Should be a good time. The one big thing we're going to do, Mark is also co-host with Dave Cooper, Dave Cooper Live. They do BS Friday, which is Building Science Friday. They do a live stream show. I was just on it. I've actually been on it twice now. I was on it right before Christmas break. I actually just was kind of a fill-in for one of the guys that couldn't make it. So we kind of did a house update and everything. And then we are doing one Friday live from the high school with my students. So
that's awesome.
So the afternoon group, we'll have a handful of the kids there.
How do we follow that? Sorry, Matt.
We will actually, I think Mark put a comment in, scroll up. There's a LinkedIn linked at the top of the chat if you guys go in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got that. Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on.
There's the event, the LinkedIn event. So if you guys connect with me or Mark on LinkedIn, I shared it as well.
Here we go.
They'll be on, I think, Twitter, Facebook. I know Instagram. Is that right? Twitch, and YouTube. So if you guys want to watch live, the thing is, it's I think 1:00 Eastern, 12 Central. It usually goes for about an hour. But the good thing is, everything just like us, everything we record, they post onto like YouTube and all that stuff. So it can always be watched at a later time. But if you guys are on your lunch break or sitting in class or whatever, my students will be on there. It'll be student, school friendly. So it's
perfect timing because I'm actually virtual this week and we end at 1, so it's a good time.
Right so 1:00 Eastern. That will be Friday. But like I said, we're gonna get the kids on there, let them talk more.
This is so cool. It's from the job site.
Yeah, well, we'll be coming into the studio to do it, so we have internet connection and everything. But yeah, we're literally going to be on the job site those 2 days. They'll be on there with the kids for 2 days, and then they're going to come in and they're going to talk to the kids about it.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So it's like a super update.
Yeah.
Who's Dave Cooper?
So Dave Cooper.
Oh yeah, you were on the show live before.
Yep. He's the host. He's worked with, like, I don't know if he works for any company now other than like just himself. He goes around. He's all over the place. Like, he's getting ready. Like, literally, they're leaving like Saturday to go to Switzerland. Like, yesterday, he flew out to San Francisco for like a roundtable talk. I know he used to work for Sega. I don't know if he still does anything with Sega officially, but I know they're going to Switzerland for Sega. But he's pretty much he goes around and another one of those ones just trying to bring awareness of, where the industry is going and, making it better and making these connections. And yeah, I mean, he goes everywhere. I mean, he literally travels everywhere. Awesome guy. Like he's great. I've had a lot of fun.
Build it better.
I've had a lot of fun being on the show with him and Mark, and yeah, they've been great.
Yeah, this is cool. That's awesome. I can't wait to see that. That'll be great.
Now, as far as the house itself goes, we're getting ready to put drywall up inside in the ceiling, and that'll be our air barrier. So we'll be able to start holding some heat in the building and stuff. So weather's not going to affect us too much. And then, yeah, we should start seeing a lot of good progress. We'll start getting into the mechanicals, wiring and plumbing and all that good stuff.
What do you do about heat before you got the furnace hooked up?
Bundle up.
Yeah, there you go. Just work hard.
Yeah. Hey,
Work
get
faster.
this. Yeah, get this. The kids in the morning session don't like to wear stocking caps because it messes up their hair. I keep telling them, I'm like, I don't think that's why you're not getting attention from the girls, guys.
Wait, is this a stocking cap? This thing?
Yeah, stocking cap.
Oh.
Who needs hair?
What do you guys call it? Beanies?
Beanie.
See, beanies for me, beanies are the ones that don't fold over. They're just like
like
a skull cap, kind of almost.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
But yeah, we call them stocking caps. But yeah, it's one. I'm like, I tell the kids, I'm like, just keep moving. You won't get cold. Like I'm in my Carhartts and everything, and most of them bundle up pretty good. But it's yeah, we had a few cold days where the wind chill was down in the single digits, so we had to stay at the school. But it worked out fine. We got some stuff done in the shop.
I had to break out the aviation winter jacket. This is like a whole different level of jacket. But Nick, he's 2 hours north, man. It's probably freezing.
Yeah, we had 7 yesterday morning.
Oh my god!
So,
wow, yeah, that's kind of like what we had, which
finally actually winter.
What?
It's finally actually winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then today is 30s. I think tomorrow is it'll be a nice day with Bob and Mark on the job site. It's supposed to be mid 40s.
So
today, heck, it almost got to 50 today. Holy moly! Yeah, so we'll be pretty comfortable tomorrow.
So that's
Sunday
tomorrow.
into Monday. We're supposed to get like 18 inches of snow.
Are you?
Yeah, they're saying anywhere from 15 on Sunday into Monday, and then another 5 Monday during the day.
I'm going snowboarding. That's it. I'm taking off. I gotta go.
I know. I need Chris's
Martin's
kids
Day, so you're gonna be home.
What's that?
I said I'm gonna have to have Chris's kids build me another snowboard.
Yeah. Am I cool enough to get a board from him?
Right. What was I gonna say? Oh, and then some other fun news. I get to go down to the International Build Show in Orlando here in a month, which is gonna be really cool because I'm actually going down there thanks to Sashco. It's a caulking and an adhesive company. If you guys have ever used a Big Stretch caulk or Through the Roof, is two I use a lot products. But anyways, I'll be down in Orlando thanks to them, but for a purpose, not just. I mean, it will be fun, but I get to actually be on, do a presentation with Matt Reisinger from the Build Show.
Oh, wow.
We are going to be talking to some industry leaders and I guess influential people in the industry about pretty much how to take programs like mine and either or create programs more like ours is mine getting kids on the job sites or taking programs that are already in schools and try to scale them up and kind of the importance of what we're doing as shop teachers and all that good stuff.
Wow, that's awesome.
Like Chris, like Chris's big thing and like we've all talked about, how do we go bigger and better and make this something that everybody really wants to be a part of and do.
Yeah, good idea. That's so cool. So imagine if your style class was copied over to every school in the country.
Yeah. Well, so I was talking to a local teacher that taught like these classes I'm teaching. He taught before me at the community college, and he's just, I don't know, about an hour away from me. And back in the same time frame when Taylorville had theirs back in the day, same thing. They've built approximately 30 houses. You know, everybody in the area was well aware of the kids building these houses. The houses were, you know, sought after and everything. And he's been trying to get his administration back. And like, he's been telling everybody, he's like, guys, we got to go over to Taylorville. He's like, you got to see what they're doing. He's like, you know, they got it right now. We got to get back on this. So what I was talking to him about, and I was telling him about me going to IBS, and part of the thing is when we go to the build show is, you know, a call of action to, you know, kick in and support these things. So what I'm going to talk to the people about for Chris, his name actually is Chris too, this teacher. And, you know, at the build show is what, if everybody gets on board, what do we take? What if we use their school as the first case study? Like, you guys, if you guys want to, you know, these companies want to dump money into something, and if we can get their board and administration to pull the trigger, be like, hey, what happens if I can get you, say this many, you know, however many companies will get you $100,000 to get things going again. What, you know, would you guys do it? And make this the case study that says, look, we just took this amount of money, we gave it to this program, they retooled, they got a piece of property, their community's behind it, the school's behind it, and, you know, just like I did, start posting on Instagram, get connected, all this stuff. Let's see what could happen. And, you know, for me, it's been, 3 years. And really, I mean, we could call it 3 years because of COVID, but technically it's probably more 2 years to get to, you know, the point of where I'm at now, where I'm going to say we are probably going to get to at least a third of the houses either given to us or donated. Hey, everybody look at Grace.
Yeah. Hello.
There goes Lydia. And Camille's in the back. And there's more kids in the house somewhere.
There's so many kids there.
But yeah, so that's
that first
idea
house.
I have. Oh, say that again, Ron.
Yeah, the first house would be big because you've got the foundation. They could just copy your program, but it's still an experiment when they franchise it out in a way.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there would be an urban version because we're out of room. There's no land here.
See, and that's and that's
so
one of the
what
things
would you do, you know?
And I know there's a push to start trying to get into the inner cities and stuff because it is, I mean, you know, what the trades provide is such a good out, right? I mean, it's good income, it's good money. I mean, it can get you, you know, maybe out of a living situation that you may be in, you know, in the, you know, poor parts of the cities. Not, I mean, heck, even in poor parts of rural communities. But
and Bob Kelly's got this system where they repair the old buildings. We got old buildings all over the place.
He's in Chicago. I mean, you know, so I know there is a push and talk of people trying to create programs. Now, you probably aren't going to be going and getting, you know, for me, I'm getting a lot that's anywhere from a few $1,000s to maybe $20,000, where you guys are going to get a sliver of alley that costs like 1.5 million, you know? So, you know, some of that logistics is, but I mean, that's the thing. It doesn't have to be a brand new build. It can be a remodel. It can be, and even implying all these, you know, high efficiency and building science practices. I mean, there's just as much to do in the remodel world. And that's one of the big things too. It's, I mean, that's the thing, you know, cities are running out of land, they're running out of property. So we have to fix the stock that we got. So there's just as much as an opportunity. And we've even talked about, you know, doing a remodel for our program as well. I mean, building a new house is awesome. Don't be wrong. But I mean, you're going to learn just as much remodeling an old house, maybe even more in some cases. You know, there's a few more liabilities when you come into remodeling, like you may have to have some abatement going on with mold, lead, or asbestos. But I mean, once you get it down to that, or even if there's some serious foundation work that needs put, that's just some of the risks that come, that, you know, financial. But because obviously you're going to sub all that stuff out. But I mean, it could be done. Or look at Frank. How do you say Frank's last name? The C Cav.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get him on. I spoke with him.
Good, because they're more or less doing exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, he's actually in charge of. He's the executive director of the New Jersey Technology Education Association.
Yeah, and they're killing it because they're getting things. I mean, granted, I know it's for Habitat for Humanity, but right there's a perfect example. I mean, and I even messaged him the other day, and I was like, dude, this right here just shows that all you need is a parking lot. You don't even need property. Like,
yeah.
And every school's got a parking lot, except for maybe Ron's, I guess. I don't think you guys have parking lots, I guess, in the city, but
no, we don't have anything.
I mean, that'd be a high price parking lot, right?
It's literally musical chairs every day.
Yeah. So, but it just shows that it doesn't even have to. And I know Dave over in Ohio, West Homes Building Trades, he's in Ohio, and they build on the property and cart the house off and stuff. So, and the thing is, even with this, they want to get involved in the building science side of things and high efficiency. I mean, modular homes and panelized and all that. That's exactly where all this is going. With you don't have to lose any. Just because you're building modular doesn't mean it can't perform just as good as like the houses we're building.
Yeah, I got a question. So he's making it looks like like not a trailer home, but it's basically a modular home, and they're building it in the parking lot, and then I guess it's on a platform that they can take away. Okay, I'm naive. Habitat for Humanity. So then what are they going to do? They're going to drag this thing away and put it where? Like who
on
gets
a foundation.
This? Oh, okay.
Yep, foundation will be there. Foundation and everything's built to specs, and they'll just come in with a crane and drop it right on there.
Wow, no kidding.
Down, and because now for them, I don't think on the inside of the house there won't be any drywall. I don't believe. Like I said, I think drywall and stuff usually gets done afterwards. Sometimes some of these houses have drywall, but that's a lot of moving around and racking and cracking.
Oh, I see.
I sure as hell wouldn't finish the drywall if I had it hung up in the house. That's for sure before I moved it. But yeah, I mean, what he's doing just shows that, the excuse that, property's too much or this or that. I mean,
no, you could send it out.
Yep. And
even those little, what were those little pods that we looked at one time?
Oh yeah, well yeah. Mike the guidus and in Denver, Colorado. Yep, they're building those little things for the homeless, in transition. Yep, because they're building like little communities. It's
right in the parking lot. That's interesting.
Yep, they built it right outside the shop doors.
Wow, that's actually.
How do you say Frank's last name? Is it Cacavalli?
No, I don't know how to say it properly. It's
Me neither.
probably.
I know he's been on the show before with us and hung out with us before, but
Casavale, probably maybe yeah.
Casavale, yeah, it could be.
Yeah, I would say Casavale, not Cacavalli. I don't know. It's a good question.
Depends on how fancy he wants to be, right?
Yeah.
And then, I know, is it Evan? I think that's his first name. The teacher in Philly with the junior high kids. Him and Frank were both on that plumber. The plumber YouTube show that you just click past it.
Oh,
go back. It's like the American Plumber Stories. Oh, no, it's like a YouTube, almost like YouTube TV thing. They're both on it and doing some. Wow. And he's doing everything in class, but I mean, he's gotten a bunch.
Oh, there it is.
Yep.
Oh, that's great. There he is. Yep. This is awesome. All right, this is cool. And I see Frank. I mean, when it's not COVID time, I see him once a year because of the conferences. And actually, he's not too far from Duke as well, because they're South Jersey. Have you been to the? You don't go to the New Jersey Tech Ed stuff, right, Duke?
No, nope.
Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty cool. And here's Roxbury. That's the school website. Okay. Huh. Yeah. Well, Frank is. I think I got him scheduled for February. I think I got him for February 2nd. Yeah, he's coming on February 2nd. So that's perfect. So we'll get him on then, and we'll get the lowdown. You know, cool. All right. Well, I should follow this group. This is great. All right, this is cool, man. This was a lot tonight. This was, you know.
Dude, Chris is killing it, man. I love when Chris talks. Chris Davis is.
Oh yeah. Dude.
I'm kind of in the same boat. Like I feel bad for Tim because he obviously has to deal with a lot worse stuff than. I mean, I've heard.
Tim likes to complain.
Yeah, well, but I've heard like my older teachers like talk about like like you guys say it changes with your administration. Like I've heard teachers talk about that have been through the ringers with the administration, and they're like, oh, back when so and so's, it just was kind of the same boat.
Yeah,
everything was no, and I'm kind of with Chris, and I've talked about this off the side before too. Is like I'm with him, and I just do it. Like
yeah,
and once you start getting good press, and like I said, getting all the donations and everything I'm getting now, I'm just like, hey, this is what we're doing. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
let's know how it goes.
So let's end the recording here. But let's hang out for a minute. This is pretty good, right? All right. So, but I will say, you have a lot coming up, Matt.
Yeah.
You know what'd be cool? Maybe if you put a calendar. I know it sounds funny, like, oh, here's my calendar, but I think it's important. If you said, okay, hey guys, you're following along. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. This is what's going on.
Yeah,
you can even say it. You don't even have to write it out.
At least even at the beginning of the month of what's kind of coming up in the pipeline. Yeah, because we got some fun things coming up.
Give us a calendar, man.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, I challenge you to put a calendar. Yeah, that was cool when Chris said that. But yeah, no, put a calendar up because it's hard to keep track. There's so much going on because you got Mark Willie's doing the BS and beer, and he's got all these podcasts he's on, and then we got ours, and then you got something going on. It's like, oh man, it's hard to keep track of all this stuff. But if I saw it, I would be like, oh, okay, I can tune in that day,
Yeah, so. Yeah, I'll get the I'll be sharing the stuff for Friday tomorrow. I'll put some things out so if anybody happens to jump on. Like I said, I know it's kind of rough because it's right during the school day, but no,
it's a good time. You can share it with the students. It's actually good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We're gonna end the recording right there. That was awesome, and we'll hang out for a minute. All right. Shop Class Podcasts next week. Jimmy DeResta and Nick. Nick knows Jimmy. We got to get some questions going. He's got such a big career. I wouldn't even know where to start. Oh my God, it's crazy. All right, tune in next week.